Hey guys, it's Todd from Like Minded Lunatics bringing you, it's another drink, play, swear. Hey, it's all we do around here. I mean, besides looking back fondly on some of the shittiest moments of our life, somehow, it's next to all we care to do. Round here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Drink, Play, Swear. Welcome back to Like Minded Lunatics. You're always welcome here at Like Minded Lunatics. While I'm thinking about it, bang, please hit that subscribe button so we can see how big this family of like-minded weirdos, degenerates, runaways, and ne'er-do-wells is getting. It gets bigger every day, and we're excited about that. Speaking of growing, Mark Gifford, co-founder of LML, is always putting out new content. The Friday night videos, bang, the Monday video matchups, and of course the Lottie's Rockucation. Always a good time, so please check those out if you're not watching that. It's my favorite stuff on YouTube, if I'm totally honest with you. And hey, I don't know if you know this, but LML is not just on YouTube. We also have a television show on Austin Music T.V, channel 16 in Austin, Texas, every Friday night at 10 p.m. And if you're not in the Austin market or not willing to try to look us up streaming on Austin Music TV's website, you can also join us on Patreon. And at Patreon, you can pay a small fee to check out every episode of Like Minded Lunatics television. Unique content. We've got over 60 of them up there now, and a new one every week. Please check us out. Be a part of the family. All right. That's enough, Todd. Let's get moving. What do we do around here? Well, it's exactly what it sounds like. At Drink, Play, Swear, we play a game, usually a classic one. I pair it with a beverage, and I tell a story, don't I? Yes, we tend to run our mouths. We talk. We have a good time. What am I playing today? Oh, man. I mean, this is just a treat today. We were playing Rampage, the arcade classic on the NES today. That's right. And I just talked to Like My Lunatic Charlie about having him on and playing Rampage one day. Sorry, bro. I couldn't resist. I'm playing Rampage without you. So that's what we're playing today. What am I drinking with it? Oh, you know what it is. You don't even have to ask. It's a Jim Beam and Coke. Please get yourself something. Let's kick back and have a good time today. Rampage, one of those Bally Midway classics. So fun. All right. Now, I'm going to be Lizzie, because I have to admit to you, I am a Godzilla fan over a King Kong fan. I really am. I love me a Godzilla movie. I love the original. I love the more recent ones. There's a lot of bad ones, but bad in just the most wonderful way. Here's a little trivia for you about Godzilla, okay? Godzilla is a portmanteau. Are you familiar with that term? Portmanteau is a French word, fancy French word, okay? And all it means is like when you put two words together and combine them into one word. So like, decades ago, we used to talk about Brangelina. Remember that? Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, they were Brangelina. So that's a portmanteau. You're putting two words together and you're making them one. So Godzilla is ostensibly a portmanteau made on purpose, right? But the funny thing is that Godzilla is not the Japanese word for that character. No, it's not. When the American ear heard Godzilla, or heard that word, they heard Godzilla. And that's a portmanteau combining God with the Zilla, meaning like a lizard, right? So God lizard. Funny thing is that's not what the Japanese are saying in that movie. We misheard it when we made our own version of it in the 50s, or that is the subtitled dubbed version in the 50s. What they were saying in Japanese was not Godzilla, but it was a different portmanteau, which is so interesting. They were saying Gojira. Now, Gojira is a portmanteau of gorilla. Okay, that's the first part of it. And then the Jira comes from the second half of the Japanese word for whale. Yeah, I think it's Kojira is whale in Japanese. So what they were saying when they created that character, because it is a Japanese character, right? They were saying a gorilla whale, and we say a god lizard. Same character. Okay, fun fact. Todd, move on. Who cares about all this? What are we talking about today in terms of the story? Not just Godzilla and lizards and stuff. I want to talk about the past, like I do so often on this channel. And I want to talk about my first job. I've talked a little bit about my first job in the past. That is, bagging groceries at a health food grocery store called Sun Harvest Farms in San Antonio, Texas, in the late 90s. But I haven't really done a deep dive on it, and I was reflecting fondly on it the other night, and I thought I would spend some time talking to you about it today. Sun Harvest was my first job, and at your first job in retail, you are often the young person there. You're the kid, right? And you're around a bunch of grown-ups. Growing up, you sort of assume that adults kind of have it together. You know what I mean? That like eventually, even though like you're a screw up as a kid, that you're going to eventually get it together like all the other grown-ups around you. But when you work retail, when you're 17 or 18 years old, you learn very quickly that grown-ups don't know shit about shit. Right. So there were a handful of grown-ups I learned that from when I worked at Sun Harvest. One of them was the store manager. So his name was Jerry. Jerry was like a 5'6", like Mexican cowboy type character with a big black mustache and wore cowboy boots and jeans every day and had a big smile. And he was real good with customers, but he hated my ass and he hated all young people in general. And made us do crazy stuff like pull out the refrigerator in the back room and mop behind the fridge and then put it back. Look at me, naked and sad. How do I wake up? Okay. I guess Lizzie's a female character. That makes sense. Lizzie the lizard. But until I transformed, I didn't really remember that. Anyway, Jerry hated kids. He hated young people. Well, he didn't hate all young people because the theory was around Sun Harvest is that Jerry got one of the cashiers pregnant, even though he was married and had a family. He got one of the cashiers pregnant, a young woman, and transferred her ass to a different Sun Harvest to try to hide the fact that he had like a secret lady. Here's another example of me and my first job finding out that like adults aren't perfect or they don't have it all together. The bulk manager at Sun Harvest, his name was Abdul. And Abdul was probably in his mid-40s, and he was a real nice guy. Tiny little dude, and he ran the bulk department. Now, if you're not familiar with the grocery stores with a bulk department, I'll just tell you that it's like a bunch of bins where customers can walk around and put items into little baggies, weigh them, and pay what they want for them without all of the extra packaging, right? So you're getting like dried apricots and chocolate chips and trail mix and whatever it is you want in this bulk department. Funny thing about Abdul was he was not able to read in English, which probably should have disqualified him to be the bulk manager at a grocery store, considering that he has to like budget and order items, but he would just check random boxes on the form, or he would find one of us young fellas who didn't know nothing about nothing and ask, what does this say? What does this say? The most inappropriate conversation I ever had with Abdul was this. He came over to me one day and he goes, "Hey Todd, how old are you?" I said, "I'm 18, man." He said, "You like girls?" I go, "Well, I mean, yeah. Are you asking if I have a girlfriend?" He goes, No, I don't care about your girlfriend. I'm asking, do you like girls?" I said, "Well, yeah, sure." He said, "Okay, hey, you let me know, because you're a young man, right? You let me know if you're push with a girl, you can tell me all about it." What? Essentially, he was like telling me randomly that if I ever had sexual encounters with women, he wanted to know about them. He didn't know anything about me. We weren't close friends. Do you know what I mean? We were like 20 years apart, if not 30 in age. But he was ready to talk push. Okay. was a real interesting time. You're learning about yourself and you're learning about the adult world in retail and your first jobs. The last little piece I'll talk to you about today is not about adults failing, but about my buddy. One of my buddies working at Sun Harvest worked in the meat department. At the like little meat market. So what he did there was usually he was like slicing ham and turkey for customers, or he was like cooking the rotisserie chickens. Look at this chicken right here. I'm scooping up on the game. I love those rotisserie chickens. Yeah. But what I found out was that my buddy was stealing meat from the meat market and selling it to local businesses. So he's a fucking entrepreneur. I'm 18 years old at my first job. I'm just trying to make like $5.55 an hour or whatever it is so that I can buy cigarettes and sandwiches at Schlotsky's Deli. And he's like running a illegal business. I found this out because he and I would hang out at a diner coffee shop called Jim's in South Texas. And Jim's restaurant, ooh, look, search bonus. What are we getting into here? Let's see what we can find. We would go to this Jim's restaurant, and one night I saw him, my buddy that is, talking to the night manager about getting meat at cost. So my buddy was stealing steaks from our workplace, hauling them into his like shitty what did he have? I think it was like an old Mustang. He had like a 71 Mustang in 1999, and and selling them to a coffee shop. Now that I think about it, that's not a dirtbag move at all. He's an entrepreneur. He's a genius. All right. I hope you had a good time today playing Rampage with me and just talking first jobs. You know, one thing I think about when I think about my first job is this. When I was in that job, I was miserable. I really, really disliked it because I knew I was the bottom rung of a larger totem pole. Yeah. Bottom rung on the ladder, that is. But now that I look back on that time, I realize that there was so much to learn and so much to experience that I should have just stopped and looked around and just taken it in, because you will move on. So if you're a young person, let me just say this. If you're in a shit job right now and you're a young person making next to nothing, if you get a solid education and some work experience, you are going to move on. But take some time and just soak it in, man. I think about those people and that place, and I do look back fondly on it, even though it was kind of a nightmare. All right. Thanks for being with us here today. You know me. I like to kick back, play games, and tell stories with you. I'm glad you're here. And between now and the next time I talk to you, I got like 3/4 of this glass left. I'm Todd. Oh. See ya.